Hello, my name is Sophia, and the focus of my debate for today's discussion is the invasive species with the common name Diphorina sea tree, also known scientifically by the name Asian citrus psyllid.
Howdy, my name is Logan, and I'm representing Anoplophora glabripennis, commonly known as the Asian longhorn beetle. Named after their long antennae, these shiny black little beetles pack quite the punch. They attack and kill thousands of hardwood trees each year, and no current cure means there won't be any sawing them off when it comes to the longhorn beetle.
The invasive species with the common name Diphorina sea tree, also known scientifically by the name Asian citrus psyllid, is a Hemiptera order insect in the Libidae family. The insect is tiny in its adult stage, similar in size to that of an aphid. The edges of the wings are brownish, featuring a transparent region throughout the middle. The pest is popularly distinguished by its lanceolate body and wing design that are unique to the insect. Although the insect's lifespan is around 1 to 2 months, a female reproduces several times throughout its lifespan and can lay several hundred eggs, becoming invasive within a couple of months at such a fast rate. The insect eats while having its back extremities slanted, giving it a thorn-like appearance upon the leaves of plants. The psyllids are grasping invasive insects that ingest by inserting their mouthparts into the leaf tissue of citrus trees. Citrus is harmed by the insect eating off the tree because fresh stems are burned off or the leaves bend or produce slits as they develop. The Asian citrus is an invasive citrus pest that spreads certain fulmin-limited bacteria, which induce the citrus greening infection on trees, which is recognized by many to constitute the Earth's most dangerous citrus disease. This happens as the bacteria causes hunglobine (HLB) disease, which develops throughout the plant and eventually kills fruit trees. The bacterium on the affected plants enters the psyllid's organism once it consumes off a deceased plant. The psyllid next proceeds onto a healthy tree and introduces it to the greening disease, while it eats off of it, leading to hundreds of trees dying from the greening infection. Overall, the Asian citrus psyllid is a better invasive species due to its capability of becoming invasive within a few months, fast reproduction, and being able to infect trees in a short time that will eventually kill trees off due to the disease the insect carries.
The invasive species commonly called the Asian longhorn beetle, or ALB, also known scientifically as Anoplophora glabripennis, is a Coleoptera order insect in the Cerambycidae family. This shiny black beetle has white spots on its wing casings and long antennae that can be twice as long as its body. The Asian longhorn beetle is a highly invasive wood-boring insect that targets numerous different hardwood trees. Some of their favorite trees to feed on are maple, elm, birch, ash, willow, and poplar. This dangerous hardwood killer is native to both China and Korea. However, they have been currently found in the states of Massachusetts, New York, Ohio, and South Carolina. It is thought that the beetle made its way to the United States through untreated wooden packing crates that were shipped from China. Regardless of how they got to the United States, the toll they are now taking on the trees here is undeniable. Once a female ALB has been bred, she burrows a tiny hole in a host tree in which she will lay a single white egg. Adult females can lay anywhere between 50 to 125 individual eggs over the course of their nearly 70-day lifespan. Once their egg is hatched, the larvae will tunnel through the heartwood of the tree, pushing all the sawdust waste out of the opening of the hole. The ALB will stay in the tree until it is fully grown, and then it will once again begin to chew through the tree until it reaches the surface. This damage this causes to the host tree can be catastrophic, and the sap that is excreted from the tunneling holes only draws in more insects to continue damaging the tree. The reason the Asian longhorn beetle is such a damaging invasive species is because there are currently no pesticide or remedies for diminishing its existence. The only way to slow its damage, as of now, is to inspect areas of hardwoods and hope the beetle can be identified early enough to effectively quarantine the area and avoid continuous damage. If not, the damage it can do to both recreational and economic areas could be detrimental to our natural environment.
The Asian citrus psyllid is a better invasive species than the Asian longhorn beetle as it is able to affect larger populations at a faster rate. It can travel from one citrus tree to another in a quick matter of days and eat off new tree leaves, leaving behind HLB, or commonly known as the citrus grinning disease. The disease that the insect carries when eating from one tree leaves to another tree leaves has no cure discovered yet, despite the various amounts of research done. The only known way thus far to combat HLB disease that are left behind by the insect is by destroying trees that are infected. That way, one is able to minimize the spread of the bacteria. The insect eats from numerous trees in their lifetime, currently only damaging citrus trees, thus costing farmers a large amount of money as they have to cut down their trees to slow or stop the spread of HLB. In their lifespan, the Asian citrus can contaminate more than 50 trees in less than 2 months, making it a better invasive species.
The Asian longhorn beetle is truly the supreme invasive species, especially when it comes to North America. The United States and Canada's dense population of favorite host trees lay out the Asian longhorn beetle's path to destruction. States like New York are home to thousands of poplar, maple, and elm that can be easily infested by the ALB. The United States Animal, Plant, and Health Inspection Service claims that the ALB has the potential to cause more damage than the Dutch elm disease, chestnut blight, and gypsy moths combined. Between the years 1997 and 2010 alone, the United States government has spent over $373 million in eradication efforts. Controlling the ALB population is so expensive because of the intensive and limited methods available in our eradication zones. The ALB's fast reproductive system and overall ability to destroy at a fast rate during its life cycle make it far more threatening to our society than the Asian citrus psyllid. If this invasive species is not managed carefully and on time, the ALB has the potential to wipe out large areas of natural forests.
Although the Asian longhorn beetle is a damaging species, its total economic loss and damages are not comparable or far as high as those of the invasive species Asian citrus psyllid. This species originated in Asia, leading to the eradication of thousands of citrus trees used for the cultivation of fruit. That is a major contribution to their economy. The invasive species later arrived in America in the early 2000s, affecting mainly states like California and Florida, whose economics depend highly on the cultivation of the citrus crops. Since the insect has been detected in the US, it has led to the killing of thousands of trees due to them being contaminated by the greening disease. This cost Florida single-handedly around $7 billion in revenue, and that's not counting other US states that have experienced significant losses in revenue. The invasive Asian citrus is more damaging as it not only kills trees by simply eating off its leaves, but as well costs cultivators millions of dollars a year from lost revenue, and as well the loss of hundreds of jobs as the orchard sizes and revenues are reduced, thus making the Asian citrus a better invasive species than the Asian longhorn beetle, as it not only invades crops and causes their eradication, but as well affects the lives of people by reducing employment and revenue.
Even though the Asian citrus psyllid can take a toll on citrus trees, the Asian longhorn beetle is still the most invasive bug around. The citrus psyllid attacks fruit trees, which take a mere 3 years to reach the fruit producing stage. The longhorn beetle, on the other hand, wipes out giant hardwood trees that can take up to 100 years to fully mature. The cost and time required to replace these massive hardwoods are far greater than that of the citrus trees the Asian citrus psyllid targets. The Asian longhorn beetle is also a danger to residential areas. The limbs and even the trunk of infested trees become weak from insect tunneling and have been known to collapse onto houses and cars. In the United States, only about 5 states have a legitimate amount of citrus trees. On the other hand, almost every state in the country has an honest population of hardwood trees. The abundance of host trees alone gives the Asian longhorn beetle a huge advantage over the Asian citrus psyllid.
Although the citrus trees are only native to some states, they are a big percentage of the U.S. revenue in crop production, as well as to millions of others that are globally affected by this insect, not only costing the environment, but also affecting people with jobs and economically. This insect is a better invasive species as it can kill multiple trees in a matter of months, which is even more of a problem as a single insect can do that all and they reproduce hundreds over a month. The Asian citrus psyllid is being commonly researched by scientists as they haven't found a way to stop the greening disease transmitted by the insect. That makes the Asian citrus the most damaging species as extensive research has yet to discover how to end the spread of them and the greening disease they carry. The Asian longhorn beetle might cause damages to commonly known residential trees, yet the effects are not as high as those that are produced by the psyllid globally. That is why the Asian citrus psyllid is better at being a damaging invasive insect.
1/3 of the United States of America is covered in hardwood forest. National parks, commercial timber, and even your everyday residential trees are in direct danger of the Asian longhorn beetle. Its wide variety and abundance of potential host trees here in the United States give it an unmatched advantage in regards to invading and trampling our ecosystems. The Asian citrus psyllid does have a deadly advantage with the citrus greening disease it carries. However, it still doesn't carry the sheer risk that the ALB does. The ALB is so dangerous because there are hardly any effective methods to knock it off its destructive paths. Pesticides that are normally utilized in the control of Asian citrus psyllids cannot be used for the ALB due to the areas in which they reside. The Asian longhorn beetle is the superior invasive insect due to the impact it has on our environment, economy, and everyday life. As dangerous as the Asian citrus psyllid may be, its harm is focused mainly on our economy and simply doesn't stack up against the notorious Asian longhorn beetle.